Hi guys, it's the 24th of December 2018 at 24 minutes past 8 in the evening over here in the UK, and I can't say that nothing has not happened because obviously we've had the volcano tsunami scenario with Indonesia. May not be exactly the scenario we're looking at, but it's very similar to the topics we've been discussing all this time. At the moment I'm going to start with the markets, just looking at where the markets were in, like 2008 when Obama came into office, and currently where it's trending now. So it's not in, recession territory yet, but it's getting there. The market is dropping quite swiftly, 500, 600 points per day. If that trend continues, then you'd be, back down to those levels by, coming to the end of January, if nothing substantial happens before then to force the market to go down even further. So keep an eye on that. I just talked about the tsunami from the Anak Krakatoa volcano that affected Indonesia. I didn't realize, and was pointed out by Sissy Missy, one of my subscribers, that there was also a Meteo-Tsunami 2 days earlier on the 20th, Thursday the 20th. So this meteor tsunamis are caused by atmospheric pressure. Apparently, these are all kind of new terms that they're bringing in, and obviously could be associated with weather warfare and weather weapons. We usually associate tsunamis with earthquakes. Now we've got volcanoes as well, but a line of strong storms apparently can produce the same effect. And on Thursday, a line of strong storms moved across the Florida Peninsula. It produced 4 tornadoes and a general wind gust of 40 to 60 miles per hour, along with 2 to 4 inch rains. The storm pushed the water towards the shore and produced a Meteo-Tsunami, which was recorded just here.
It's coming at us!
Bring the beach back.
Did it bring the beach back, you reckon? Look out! Look out! Oh!
Wow, they got that on live TV.
Are they okay? Oh, there went my shoes. Catch that garbage can, will you?
Now, obviously, I'm thankful for the video, but I don't recommend standing around filming while a tsunami is taking place. Obviously, this was a meteor tsunami, but they had no idea that was the case. This could have been, the first wave, the second wave could have come. It's all fun and games until people start dying. So, kind of need to take these things a bit more seriously, at least get up to a higher level. You can record from there if you really need to record. So we had a meteor tsunami on Thursday the 20th. We had a volcanic tsunami on the 22nd, which was Saturday. And now we've got Mount Etna erupting. And Mount Etna is one of the volcanoes I mentioned in the video before last, I believe it was, as one of the volcanoes to watch. Watching because it's another volcano that could potentially cause a tsunami with a landslide scenario with its flanks slipping into the ocean. So Mount Etna has erupted, rocketing a giant ash cloud into the skyline, with footage showing the moment the volcano blew. Italian volcano Mount Etna erupted on Monday afternoon, spewing a giant ash cloud into the sky at 3,300 meters. It's the highest volcano in mainland Europe and is considered to be one of the most active in the world. Sorry, that's how tall Mount Etna is, not how tall the ash cloud is. On Monday afternoon, the volcano erupted, rocketing a huge cloud into the skyline above eastern Sicily. The volcano has been rocked with a seismic activity over the last few days, and on Wednesday last week spewed ash and lava. Explosive activity continued at the eastern vent of the southeast crater and flowed into the 2 nearby craters. Now, the southeast crater is important because it's the southeast flank that is unstable and could slip into the ocean, generating a tsunami. It would be a generally localized tsunami because it's surrounded by countries, which I'll show you in just a few seconds. This eruption appears to be part of a sequence that started in September 2013, according to the Smithsonian Institute's Global Volcanism Program, GVP. Focused on the new southeast crater, these eruptions have not in general proved to be dangerous, but the emergence of a new fissure has certainly got the INGV sitting up and paying close attention. So a new fissure has formed on the southeast, from the southeast crater, which is obviously on the southeast flank, which is unstable, and the part that could slip into the ocean. Reporting by Volcano Discovery notes that the lava is flowing into the upper Vale de Bove, a horseshoe-shaped depression feature on the eastern part of the volcano. The new fissure itself appears to be at the foot of the new southeast crater. And there's just a very quick Etna tsunami impact analysis video that was posted online, and I'm just gonna play it in just a second. Before I do, just tell you who posted it. It's by Suspicious Observers, so you can check it out on his channel. And just gonna play it.
It may not need to erupt to do. Here to finish off yesterday's topic, Etna volcano known to have produced pyroclastic flows into the ocean and major tsunamis in the past, but now it may not need to erupt to do so. The southeastern flank is already sliding and could even just be one good quake away from doing so. The scientists say it is going down regardless of quakes or volcanoes, given enough time. The number one question we saw after last night's video was about when the tsunamis would strike and how bad they would be. We'll begin close by with the YouTube famous Ingomar 200. His name is actually Stephen Ward, and he's at USCS. In the collapse scenario, there are not many escapees nearby from the bulge displacement. In his animation, the red is more than 60 feet of run-up, with orange being 30 to 60 feet. The Sicilian and nearby coast to the north would be completely devastated by the wave. Some regions even flood for dozens of miles inland. Those would be the second hardest hit areas behind the actual flank collapse region, which does have a city on top of it. Up next, let's look at an animation from New Scientist Channel. Quickly here first, and then at relatively slowed down speed. Immediate coastlines will be overcome within minutes, with all of that side of Sicily and the region to the north within the first half hour. Malta is partially shielded, but could still receive a power surge of 5 to 10 meters high about 50 minutes later, with Grecian coast taking it moments after that. There's a lot of African coastline to the south, with the first waves reaching about 75 to 90 minutes later, along with southern Greece. But with the bad geography inlet in Libya to the south of Benghazi, we see the next hour produce major risk at every inlet where water could funnel and build up along the border into Egypt, and there the waves become substantially smaller. However, the port of Alexandria is in one of those bad geography inlets and could see a few meters of surge after about 3 hours. That's just as Cyprus begins seeing similar-sized waves enter the Far Eastern Sea. Generally, the waves reaching the far eastern coast will be smaller, but any small inlets could be at risk of 5 to 15 meter surges depending on local geography, and any region considered a flat land would be at excess risk inland as well. Thanks for watching. Hopefully something like this doesn't happen for a very long time, but alas, it is going to happen. Be safe.
So that is obviously a breakdown of the scenario in terms of the affected area, and where he's saying something like this is bound to happen. Scientists saying the same thing, something I'm also looking at. It's, possible that it could be connected to this latest series of eruptions, and obviously as we're looking out for the volcanic tsunami scenario, obviously that's already happened in Indonesia, but it may be that it's played out a few times, so keeping an eye on Etna. And as he was saying, that the volcanic eruption from Etna and the tsunami would affect like the inlets going into Libya and therefore going into Egypt. It would obviously be significantly smaller, but it would still be affecting Egypt. And I was just thinking about that as he was talking, and the connection that may have with the iPad Go 2 video in this scene here. Now, we've talked about this particular scene possibly representing Egypt. I think so because, one, you've got like this half-buried statue, like the way that they have the long beards kind of upside down. So it's got the long beard here, little goatee, that's where his nose is, his head is half buried in the sand there. You've got this mountain shape, and then you've got the explosion above it. So we've interpreted interpreted that as either a nuclear explosion or a volcanic eruption, possibly both. And this could possibly be a reference to Mount Etna in the background, because I believe that along with the statue and the woman and the child is a reference to Egypt. And then obviously down here, you've got what looks like a low-level flood, which would be a tsunami. So again, that whole kind of connection just maybe being associated with Mount Etna and Italy in the background, and the tsunami therefore it causes over in Egypt. And obviously other things are going on in the Middle East, where we could see, you know, large scale casualties with the US pulling out of Syria, the Turks getting ready to you know, go on their offensive against the Kurds in the northeastern part of Syria. Obviously the tensions with Iran, the US carrier USS Stennis just entering into that part of the world, you know, for the first time in a couple months. Iran putting on a large-scale military show. So there's a lot of things that could quickly spark up. And that's aside from the stock market, you know, currently collapsing, Brexit collapsing, everything is collapsing basically. So just keeping an eye out for all these events. But it does look like we're having a few tsunami scenarios: Meteo-Tsunami, volcanic tsunami, possible tsunami from Mount Etna if it continues to, you know, erupt and erupts violently with the flank falling off, southeastern flank. You've obviously got the situation with Kilauea. That's still a potential. La Cumbre Vieja, that's still a potential. So that's just the volcanic scenarios. That doesn't even include the submarines, the EMPs, and everything else we've talked about. So you guys, keeping our eyes open. Have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and may the Heavenly Father bless you.